I kept getting disturbing stares from an old couple at a restaurant, and when I found out why, it destroyed me. I used to go to this diner every Saturday morning for breakfast, and it was an otherwise lovely place, except for this one specific old couple. They were there at the same time as me every Saturday morning too, and for the majority of my meal, I'd catch the woman glancing over or even downright staring at me. Now, I used to dress very alternatively, so I was used to getting weird looks from strangers, but the way she looked at me was so different to anything I've experienced. The first time she ever looked at me, she teared up and almost started crying, and after she turned back around, the man just placed his hand on her shoulder. He too had red eyes, and I saw him mouthing, "I know it hurts, honey." I saw them again next week, and once again the old woman teared up after looking at me. This went on for another few weeks, and every time I'd scratch my head wondering why she was crying at the sight of someone she never knew. Well, after one particularly emotional breakdown, she excused herself to the bathroom, and while she was gone, I saw the old man get out of his seat. He made his way towards me, and when he got close, he firstly apologized. He told me he was sorry to interrupt my meal, and he was also sorry about his wife. He said he had noticed her actions make me uncomfortable, and so he felt the least I deserved was an explanation. I told him, "Okay, I'm listening," and he cleared his throat before speaking. I could tell he was pushing back tears. After taking a moment, he went on to say, "I know this is a heavy thing to dump, so brace yourself. So I'm sure you can guess that woman there is wife. And the thing my wife has always wanted most is to be a mother. Sadly, doctors always told her she'd never get pregnant. Yet, my wife, my incredible wife, she doesn't listen when someone tells her she can't do something." He chuckled to himself. "She prayed and prayed to God to give her a child, and one day her prayers were answered. Doctors were in awe, and she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. I fell in love with my baby Isabella instantly, and for the next 19 years we gave her everything we had. She gave us more joy than anything. But then," I saw him stammer and his eyes water up. "But then, Isabella, she left the house to go to a friend's one evening, and we never heard from her again. We called and called her, and finally at 3 a.m. we got in my car to drive around to look for her. Well, we found her, but we found her unalived, laying unclothed in a bush." He could barely get his words out at this point. He was choking on his tears so much, and I even teared up too seeing his pain. I stood up and offered him a hug. He accepted it, and while hugging me, he said something that made it all make sense. "The thing is, the reason my wife keeps looking at you is because you look just like Isabelsa. You both have that quirky dress style we used to say was just a phase. You have the same color eyes, the same facial features too. You remind us of her so much." He pulled away from the hug and took out his wallet. He then showed me a picture of him, his wife, and Isabella wearing matching Christmas pajamas. She looked around my age in the photo, and the resemblance was uncanny. We literally could have been twins. I remember crying myself when I saw it, and after I wiped my tears, the man asked me for a favor. He told me that every time his wife sees me, she wants to talk to me, just to feel like her daughter is alive. He asked me if after they finished their meal, his wife could come up to me for a small mother-daughter chat. "You don't even have to tell her what you're actually doing in life. Please just talk to her. Make something up." I told him I'd be glad to do that, and he went back to his table after one more hug. And indeed, after their meal, the woman came up to me. We had a 5-minute conversation about how I was doing in life. I told her I was a director at a fashion firm now, and she just smiled. "I always knew my baby girl was so smart. I always said you'd achieve great things, Izzy sweetie." When she stood up and walked off, she hugged me and told me to keep pushing, because no matter how hard it gets, she knew her Izzy was too strong of a soul to let life beat her. Those words stick with me to this day.